Hello my friends, another day, another project. When I got my donkey, I also bought not only donkey, but I bought also a halter with reins, which is this thing which you see on the ground. And also I bought a saddle. The saddle is okay, but the halter, you see what kind of condition it is. The metal bits are okay, except one connection, which I might deal with later. But the rope work, you see what it is. Yeah, here it holds together with 1.5 strand only, barely holds together. And this is how it looks, and it's a bit too short for me as well. So I went to the rope shop and I got this today. This is 10.5 meter rope, and it cost me 50 pounds, which is 2.5 euros in the local rope shop. I was looking even a little bit smaller, thinner, but this was the thinnest they had. But what's important, it's a natural fiber, it's not synthetic, so it will not have any problem with ultraviolet light degradation from the sunshine. So I will not have to worry about that, which is my main worry in this kind of climate. The moisture and being wet is no problem at all here. The problem is sunlight, which degrades all kinds of plastics in no time. So this is the first part of the job done. I remembered my old sailing days and I made this splice to this ring. So that's 1/2 of it, and the other half I will not splice there, but I will make a knot there. I'll might splice the very end of it, but the attachment there will be not splice. So I can untie it and then I can use only one side attached to the halter, and then I have a long rope for the groundwork or for leading in a longer rope this donkey if he would be tied to behind another donkey. But there is again one thing about Egyptian culture. This rope, of course, wasn't the natural fiber rope. It is not cotton, it is not sisal, it is not linen, it is not hemp, it is nothing natural. It is plastic. I was able to melt the ends. Well, this is nice, of course. I was able to melt them and easily finish the splice. But it's plastic. And I'm not so angry so much about the fact that it's plastic, but about the thing that I will have to think about this thing deteriorating in ultraviolet light and sunshine. Unless it is somehow specially protected, which I doubt. Some plastics have UV protection in them. So most likely I will have to change it after it gets brittle in sunlight. Only to my defense and calming down myself, I can say that it's much thicker than it's needed, so I hope it will be long enough time before it happens. But yeah, Egyptians sometimes like to talk, well, most of the times, like to talk things which they don't know. Instead of just honestly saying that they don't know something, they just tell something. And that man who sold me the rope, he was seriously telling me that this is a silk rope, natural silk. Of course, I couldn't believe exactly that it's silk, especially for that kind of phrase. But I thought maybe they call silk here some special kind of cotton or something. I thought, okay. But I was 3 times asking him, is it a natural fiber or it's a plastic or it's any kind of synthetics? Oh, of course, natural. Yeah, it melted. Okay, friends, it is what it is. And it will be okay for some good amount of time because it's too thick anyway. So I made the terminal stopper, like I don't know how is it called, but I spliced this thing at so it doesn't unravel. So let's untangle that thing now, and we'll see what's going on here, because here is one problem. You see this side, it is as it should be, with this metal steel wire which holds together that piece which goes under the chin with that piece which goes on the side of the mouth, and this one is inside of the mouth. So this thin metal holds together these two, and also the ring where the reins are attached. But on this side you see it's obviously broken or whatever happened, but it's tied with a fishing line, which is getting quite old already, because of course it doesn't like to be left in ultraviolet light and sun rays. And that's why the guys have been tying this thing to this side, so it's kind of a little bit safer than to this thing, which is held only by the thin line. I'll see what I can do now to make it a bit better, but in future I think even if I can find a nail of this size, maybe even a bit thicker, I could let it through and bend it around. We'll see about that in future, it won't be today. Well, I'm happy I opened that crazy stuff. That fishing line which was used here, it was completely deteriorated in sunlight. Brittle as crazy. It came off, I literally twisted like this, and it came off. So it could have come off any moment when I was riding the donkey, so I'm happy I did it today, not tomorrow. As I said, I will look for some nail or a strong steel wire thick like this for a permanent solution, but for today, to ride the donkey back, I just quickly made from the linen thread, thick, strong linen thread. I literally filled the hole with so many times as I could easily fit inside, and every second turn I tied it, so in case it chafes in one place and starts to unravel, it stops after 2 turns. So for a couple of days should be okay, I think, but I don't see it as a permanent solution. I want to make something like this, but that's for another day. The sunset is approaching, so I want to ride the donkey back. He has been grazing near my house, and I want to ride him back to the place where he stays at night. Now, I tied a simple bowline knot here, so that this spliced end is just out of that, and it acts as a stopper just in case it want to untie. And this should be good for now, except I want to solve that thing. And yeah, I'll see about these. Whether it's needed that it's so soft around his head, I'm not sure. I have seen rope halters, so it might be that one day I replace these as well, but not with this thick, with smaller rope. But this is okay for now, it just doesn't look good, but technically, functionally, should be all right. And I have this kind of reins now, and this amazing thing, you see how thick it was in one piece. So this amazing thing will go to a well-earned retirement. So that's it for today, and I'll continue when I find some steel for that connection. So this is how the new reins look. My donkey is kind of wanting to go already. Okay, I'll come to him and we'll go. So friends, this is my final result of the halter and reins. I actually did shorter the reins, so this is more convenient, more usable in the real situation. I left it too long at the beginning. And also what I did, I changed this rope, which leads against the head of the donkey. So this is in his mouth, and this is against the back of his head. And this knot I still have. I have it this way. I might make it a little bit smaller and less conspicuous, how do you say it? But I'm still trying to figure out the exact length, because it must be very precise for the donkey, because this is in his mouth, and if it's too short, it presses too much into his lips. So while I'm still figuring out the right length, I keep this knot as it is. And because I changed this, made new rope here, I can now put into retirement this contraption. Also what I did, I changed this pin a little bit, this one. I bent it around so that it cannot open when it's pulled too strong. And also, instead of having that small wire here, I used a nail. It could have been, I would be happy to have a bigger nail, so that the head of the nail is big enough not to go through these holes. And then I would be bending it the same way as this one. The head of the nail would be here, and then it would go through and around it itself. But I couldn't get that big nail, and it wasn't that important thing, so I just wanted to get it done. So I used this smaller nail, and I bent the nail around itself, around the head. It's not ideal, but strength-wise it will be more than enough. Basically, what I need is that in real situations, there are very light pressures which this connection has to withstand, because I don't want to really pull very heavily on donkey's mouth. It's a sensitive place. So in real situation, I have really almost a fingertip kind of movement. Very rare I pull it stronger when he's really doesn't want to obey, and we risk be running over by a car or something. Then I might pull stronger, but normally it's not so strong. But in order not to have to think about these things anymore, I want them to be stronger than myself. Basically, if I, with my hands pulling of this rope, if I'm not strong enough to pull this nail apart, then it means that I don't have to think about it. And that's what I like. I think only about the donkey and the situation. I don't have to think about these things, because they are stronger than me. That should be good enough. Okay, friends, that's it for this kind of journey of repairing, remaking and fine-tuning the Halter and Reins. And it seems to be good. We were once out with this new setup already, and it seems to be working nicely. I'll be adjusting this little bit maybe, but other than that, everything is working well. And I have been many times riding with the Reins already, so that's tested many times and it's good. That's it, my friends, and have a good day, and see you in some other time, some other video. All the best. If you'd like to hear more from me and support me in my ways, you're more than welcome to become my patron. Find the link to my Patreon page just under the description of my YouTube channel's About page.